the station breathes with a heavy, rhythmic sigh, a sound that has become the steady heartbeat of our lives here, suspended in the high reaches of the atmosphere. Outside, the world is a violent shade of cobalt, a deep and haunting blue that belies the chaos of the silicate winds screaming across the horizon. We are the keepers of the glass storm, the silent observers of a planet that rains shards of molten sand at 7,000 kilometers per hour. It is a quiet hour on the station, one of those long, low-light periods where the artificial suns are dimmed to a soft amber. The hum of the magnetic stabilizers vibrates through the soles of my boots, a constant reminder of the forces holding us steady against the drag of the gas giant. We call this place the Azure Watch, an outpost built of reinforced carbon and ceramic plating designed to withstand the unyielding friction of the storm. I find myself standing by the primary observation port, watching the way the light from the primary star catches the upper cloud decks. It is beautiful in a way that feels almost dangerous, like looking into the eye of a sleeping predator. The blue is not a reflection of oceans, but the result of light scattering through a thick haze of silicate particles, the very same particles that turn into liquid glass as they fall. Every few seconds, a faint, crystalline chime echoes through the hull, the sound of a stray shard glancing off our shields. This is the first act of our long watch, the time when we settle into the stillness of the deep night. The station is mostly asleep, with only the skeleton crew moving through the darkened corridors, their steps muffled by the industrial padding. We move with a certain slowness here, a deliberate grace that respects the fragility of our environment and the immense pressure just outside the glass. There is no rush in the Azure Watch, only the steady progression of the clock and the rotation of the storm below. In the distance, the curve of the planet meets the blackness of space, a sharp line of contrast that never fails to pull at my thoughts. We are so far from the world that birthed us, living in a place where the rain is made of glass and the wind moves faster than sound. Yet, inside these walls there is a warmth that feels like home, the scent of recycled air and the faint earthy aroma of the hydroponic gardens. It is a small pocket of humanity tucked away in the heart of a blue hell, and it is peaceful. I turn away from the window and begin my first round of the shift, my footsteps echoing softly in the empty hall. The walls are lined with conduits and data cables, their status lights blinking in a slow, hypnotic sequence of greens and blues. Each light represents a system working to keep us safe, a sensor monitoring the hull integrity or a heater keeping the external sensors from freezing. It is a complex dance of technology, 1,000 tiny voices whispering that all is well. I pass the entrance to the crew quarters, where the lights are dimmed to a deep indigo to encourage rest. Behind those doors, my colleagues are dreaming of places where the wind is gentle and the ground does not shake. I envy them for a moment, but then I remember the view from the observation deck and the unique privilege of being here. We are the only ones who get to see the glass storms from the inside, the only ones who know the music of the silicate rain. At the end of the corridor, the heavy blast doors of the engineering bay stand shut, their hydraulic seals gleaming under the overhead LEDs. I press my palm to the scanner, and with a low, pressurized hiss, the doors slide open to reveal the heart of the station. Here, the hum is louder, more industrial, as the massive turbines of the air recyclers spin in their housings. This is where the station's breath is cleaned and cooled, stripped of the heat generated by the massive power cores below. I walk among the machinery, checking the gauges and the haptic interfaces that monitor the station's health. Everything is within the expected parameters, the needles resting comfortably in the center of their dials. There is a comfort in this routine, a sense of order that balances the chaotic nature of the planet outside. In here, everything has a place, and every sound has a meaning that I have learned to interpret over the months of my stay. I stop by a secondary cooling unit, placing my hand on its cold metal surface to feel the vibration of the coolant pumps. It is a steady, reassuring pulse, like the purr of a large animal at rest. I check the pressure levels, noting the slight fluctuations caused by the turbulence of the storm outside. It is nothing to worry about, just the station adjusting its weight, leaning into the wind like a ship on a stormy sea. Through a small porthole in the engineering bay, I can see one of the external maintenance drones docked in its cradle. It is a rugged machine, its hull pitted and scarred by countless encounters with the glass rain. It looks tired, if a machine can look tired, waiting for the next time it will be called upon to patch a seal or clear a sensor. We rely on these drones for our survival, and we treat them with a respect that borders on the spiritual. I move back toward the central hub, passing through the transition zone where the gravity feels just a little lighter. This is the rotating section of the station, the part that provides us with the artificial weight we need to keep our bones strong. It is a subtle shift, a slight lifting of the spirit as my feet become lighter on the floor. I enjoy this part of the walk, the feeling of being suspended between the heavy pull of the planet and the weightlessness of the void. In the hub, the central computer core glows with a soft, pulsing light, its cooling fans whispering a continuous white noise. This is the brain of the Azure Watch, the intelligence that manages the complex equations of our orbit and the distribution of our power. I pause for a moment to watch the data streams flickering across the primary monitors, a waterfall of information that tells the story of the storm. The wind speeds are holding steady at 6,800 kilometers per hour, a relatively calm night for this world. I sit for a moment in the operator's chair, the leather cool against my back, and let my eyes drift across the consoles. The interface is familiar, the buttons and sliders worn smooth by the touch of many hands. I think about the people who built this place, the engineers who calculated the tolerances of the glass and the strength of the magnetic fields. They built a sanctuary in the middle of a nightmare, and they did it with a precision that still fills me with awe. I check the long-range scanners, looking for any signs of incoming debris or shifts in the atmospheric pressure. The screens show a vast, empty expanse, save for the swirling patterns of the silicate clouds. There are no other ships out here, no other stations for millions of kilometers. We are truly alone, a tiny spark of light in the vast blue darkness of the gas giant's shadow. It is a lonely thought, but also a liberating one, a reminder of the scale of the universe and our small, quiet place within it. I stand and continue my journey, heading toward the hydroponics wing, where the air is thick with the scent of growing things. This is my favorite part of the station, a lush green oasis in the middle of the cold steel and carbon. The plants are grown in vertical racks, their roots bathed in a nutrient-rich mist that smells of damp earth and life. The lights here are tuned to a warm golden spectrum, mimicking the sun of a world far away. I walk between the rows of tomatoes and leafy greens, the leaves brushing against my sleeves with a soft, rustling sound. It is quiet here, the only noise the gentle spray of the misting system and the distant hum of the fans. I take a deep breath, letting the oxygen-rich air fill my lungs, and for a moment I can almost imagine I am back on Earth. But then I look up through the transparent ceiling and see the swirling blue clouds of the giant, and the illusion is gone. The plants seem to thrive on the vibration of the station, their stems strong and their leaves vibrant. We spend a lot of time here, not just to tend the crops, but to remember what it feels like to be surrounded by living things. In a place where everything is made of metal and glass, the soft texture of a leaf is a precious thing. I spend a few minutes checking the moisture levels in the soil, my fingers stained dark by the rich, synthetic earth. I find a small bench nestled among the ferns and sit for a while, letting the peace of the garden wash over me. The storm outside feels like a distant memory, a ghost story told to children to keep them away from the windows. Here, under the golden lights, the world is simple and kind. I close my eyes and listen to the rhythmic drip of water, a sound that is as old as time and as comforting as a lullaby. After a time, I stand and make my way back to the main corridor. The transition from the garden to the industrial hall's always a bit of a shock. The air feels thinner here, colder, and the blue light of the status panels seems more stark. I check my watch and see that I am halfway through my first round, the hours slipping by with a quiet efficiency. The station is still asleep, the silence heavy and profound, broken only by the occasional groan of the hull. I head toward the science lab, where the researchers spend their days trying to understand the chemistry of the glass rain. The lab is dark now, the microscopes and spectrometers covered in protective shrouds. On the main table, a sample of the silicate rain sits in a vacuum-sealed container, its sharp edges gleaming like diamonds under my flashlight. It is beautiful and deadly, a reminder of the environment that surrounds us. I think about the experiments being conducted here, the search for new materials, and the study of extreme weather. We are learning so much about the universe by living on its edge, by pushing the boundaries of what is possible. Every piece of data we collect is a stone in the foundation of our future, a step toward understanding the vast and varied worlds that populate the stars. It is a slow process, but out here we have nothing but time. I leave the lab and walk toward the communication array, the long, narrow room that connects us to the rest of the galaxy. The consoles here are silent, the long-range antennas tucked away to protect them from the storm. We only send out bursts of data once every few days, when the atmospheric conditions are just right. For the rest of the time, we are a silent island, drifting in the blue sea of the gas giant. I check the signal buffers, ensuring that the data from the last few hours has been properly stored and encrypted. Everything is ready for the next transmission, the packets of information waiting to be flung across the void. I imagine the people on the other end receiving our reports and looking at the images of the blue clouds. They see the beauty, but they can't feel the vibration of the hull or hear the chime of the glass rain. I move back toward the hub, my round nearly complete. The station feels different now, more familiar, as if I have reconnected with every part of its being. I know every creak and every hum, every flicker of light and every shadow. It is a living thing, a complex organism that we inhabit and care for, and in return it keeps us safe from the elements. We are in a partnership with this machine, a bond forged in the fires of the storm. I return to the observation deck for one last look before I head to the galley for a cup of tea. The planet has rotated slightly, and a new storm system is visible on the horizon, a darker swirl of navy blue against the cobalt. It looks like a giant eye, watching us with a cold, indifferent gaze. I feel a shiver of awe at the scale of it, the sheer power contained within those clouds. We are so small, and yet we are here. I stand there for a long time, watching the way the light changes as the station moves through its orbit. The blue of the planet is never the same twice, shifting from a pale sapphire to a deep, bruised violet. It is a constant transformation, a dance of light and shadow that never fails to captivate. I could spend a lifetime watching this world and never truly understand its secrets, but for now, it is enough to simply be a witness. I finally turn away, the warmth of the galley calling to me. I walk through the quiet halls, my mind filled with the images of the storm and the steady rhythm of the station. The night shift is long, but it is also a time of reflection, a chance to be alone with the universe and our place within it. As I reach the galley, I feel a sense of contentment, a quiet peace that comes from knowing that all is well in our small blue corner of the sky. I prepare my tea, the steam rising in a gentle curl against the dim lights. The cup is warm in my hands, a simple comfort that feels like a luxury out here. I take a sip and look out the small window in the galley, watching the stars twinkling through the gaps in the silicate haze. They look so close, yet they are so far away, a reminder of the vastness of the journey we are on. As I sit there, the station gives a long, low groan, the sound of the hull expanding as it enters a warmer patch of the atmosphere. It is a familiar sound, one that I have come to associate with the transition from one part of the shift to the next. I finish my tea and set the cup aside, ready to begin the next part of my watch, the steady routine of maintenance and observation continuing as it always does. I set the empty ceramic cup onto the magnetic tray and hear the soft metallic click as it locks into place. The galley is silent, now save for the low, distant thrum of the primary cooling fans circulating the recycled air. I step out into the corridor where the floor panels are cool beneath my boots and the lighting is dimmed to a soft indigo hue for the night cycle. This part of the station is the spine, a long pressurized artery that connects the living quarters to the heavy engineering bays in the aft section. I walk slowly, my footsteps muffled by the heavy rubberized matting that lines the walkway. To my left, the thick multi-layered windows offer a glimpse of the void, though the glass is slightly pitted from years of exposure to the high-speed silicate particles. We are deep within the upper reaches of the atmosphere of HD 189,733b. The planet below is a swirling cauldron of electric blue and deep navy, a world where the rain is made of molten glass, and the winds howl at 7,000 kilometers per hour. I reach the junction for the sensor array and turn the heavy manual handle of the hatch. It moves with a satisfying mechanical weight, the seals hissing softly as the pressure equalizes. Inside, the room is bathed in the pale glow of dozens of monitors, each one displaying a different stream of data from the exterior hull. I take my seat at the central console, the leather of the chair creaking under my weight as I settle in for the mid-shift diagnostic. My fingers move across the tactile interface, calling up the status reports for the forward shielding. The ceramic composite plates which protect us from the relentless scouring of the glass storms are holding steady. There is a thin layer of silicate buildup on the leading edges, but it is within the expected parameters. I watch the readings as they scroll by, a steady rhythm of numbers and graphs that tell the story of our survival in this beautiful, hostile place. Outside, the storm is raging, though here, in the heart of the station, it is only a faint, rhythmic vibration felt through the soles of my feet. It is like the purr of a massive cat, a reminder of the power that surrounds us and the fragility of our sanctuary. I adjust the sensitivity of the acoustic sensors, and for a moment I can hear the sound of the glass rain striking the hull. It is a high-pitched crystalline tinkling, like millions of tiny diamonds shattering against a mirror. I move my gaze to the long-range scanners which are tracking a massive weather system moving in from the north. It is a vortex of incredible scale, a spinning eye of dark sapphire that spans thousands of kilometers. We will pass through its outer bands in approximately 3 hours, and I must ensure that the station is prepared for the increased turbulence. I initiate a sequence to reinforce the magnetic tethers that keep us anchored to our orbital path, the servos humming deep within the station's frame. There is a quiet comfort in these routines, a sense of purpose that comes from maintaining this small island of light in the dark. We are the caretakers of this outpost, the silent watchers who ensure that the fires of civilization continue to burn, even here at the edge of the known universe. I check the power levels of the secondary generators and find them at 98%, a reassuring sign that our systems are functioning at peak efficiency. I leave the sensor array and make my way toward the hydroponics wing, the air growing warmer and more humid as I approach. The smell of damp earth and growing things is a welcome change from the sterile, metallic scent of the engineering bays. I pass through the airlock and enter the garden, where rows of leafy greens and vibrant flowers are growing under the soft violet glow of the growth lamps. This is our life support, the lungs of the station, and it is my favorite place to spend the quiet hours of the night. I walk along the rows, checking the moisture levels in the soil and the nutrient balance in the water tanks. The plants are thriving, their leaves reaching up toward the artificial sun, as if they are unaware of the violent world that lies just beyond the reinforced walls. I stop to touch the petal of a rose, its velvet texture a stark contrast to the cold steel and hard glass of the station. It is a small piece of home, a reminder of the world we left behind and the future we are building here. I listen to the sound of the misting system, a gentle rhythmic spray that fills the air with a fine, cool fog. It is a soothing sound, like the falling rain on a summer evening, and I find myself closing my eyes and taking a deep breath. The air is rich with oxygen and the scent of jasmine, a heady mix that clears my head and calms my spirit. I spend a few minutes simply standing there, lost in the quiet beauty of the garden, before I continue with my rounds. I check the status of the carbon dioxide scrubbers and the water reclamation units, ensuring that every part of the cycle is working in harmony. We are a closed system, a self-sustaining world that relies on the careful balance of biology and technology. It is a delicate dance, and one that requires constant vigilance, but it is also a source of great pride. We have made a home in a place where life should not exist, and we have done it through ingenuity and perseverance. I move to the far end of the hydroponics wing, where a large panoramic window looks out over the planet's horizon. The sun is beginning to set, casting long golden shadows across the clouds of HD 189,733b. The blue of the atmosphere deepens into a rich royal purple, and the stars begin to emerge, one by one, in the darkening sky. It is a sight that never grows old, a reminder of the vastness and the mystery of the cosmos. I see the faint glow of a lightning strike deep within the clouds, a sudden flash of brilliant white that illuminates the storm for a fraction of a second. It is followed by another and then another, a silent display of nature's power that is both terrifying and beautiful. I watch the play of light and shadow, for a long time, my mind drifting on the currents of the wind and the rhythm of the station. We are so small, and yet we are a part of something so much larger, a grand tapestry of stars and planets, and the life that exists between them. I turn away from the window and head back toward the central hub, my heart light and my mind at peace. The station is quiet. The only sound, the steady hum of the life support systems and the occasional distant groan of the hull. I pass a fellow crew member in the hallway, a silent nod, exchanged between us a shared understanding of the work we do and the world we inhabit. We are the night shift, the guardians of the station, and we take our responsibilities seriously. I reach the entrance to the engineering sublevels and begin my descent down the long spiral staircase. The air grows cooler here, and the lighting shifts to a warm amber glow that reflects off the polished metal of the walls. This is the heart of the station, where the massive engines and the primary power core are located. It is a place of heavy machinery and complex systems, a testament to the skill and the dedication of the engineers who built this place. I walk past the massive humming transformers and the tangled webs of conduits and cables that carry power to every corner of the station. I check the gauges and the dials on the control panels, my eyes moving with practiced ease across the familiar displays. Everything is in order. The power flow steady and true, the core temperature well within the safety limits. I feel a sense of deep satisfaction, knowing that the station is healthy and strong. I stop at a small workstation and pull up the logs for the exterior maintenance drones. They have been busy today repairing the minor damage caused by the glass rain and clearing the debris from the sensor ports. I review the footage, from one of the drones, watching as it moves with precision and grace across the surface of the hull. Its mechanical arms are steady, its movements calculated, a silent worker in the harsh environment of the storm. I see the way the glass particles glint in the drone's lights, like a blizzard of frozen fire. It is a reminder of the constant struggle we face to maintain our presence here. But it is also a reminder of our success, of the way we have adapted and overcome the challenges of this world. We are not just surviving, we are thriving, and each day we learn more about the planet and ourselves. I finish my review and log out of the terminal, the screen fading to black. I stand there for a moment in the quiet of the engineering bay, listening to the heartbeat of the station. It is a steady, reassuring sound, a promise of safety and stability in an uncertain universe. I feel a deep sense of belonging here, a connection to the machine and the people who call it home. I begin the climb back up the stairs, my movements slow and deliberate as I transition from the heavy work of engineering to the quiet contemplation of the observation deck. The night is still young, and there is much to be done, but for now I am content to simply be and to watch the world go by. The journey continues. The station moves on, through the blue storms and the silent stars. And I am here to witness it all as the shift moves toward its midpoint. I reach the upper observation deck, where the light is dim and the stars are hidden by the swirling azure clouds of the planet below. The transition from the heavy industrial air of the engineering sublevels to the crisp filtered atmosphere of the deck is always a relief. Here the silence is deeper, broken only by the faint rhythmic ticking of the thermal expansion joints in the station's frame. I find my favorite seat, a worn leather chair, positioned perfectly before the primary viewing port. The view is, as always, breathtaking and terrifying in its raw power. HD 189,733b stretches out beneath us, a vast cobalt marble shrouded in a violent, beautiful mist. The winds down there are moving at 7,000 kilometers per hour, carrying shards of silicate that glow with a faint internal light. It is a storm of glass, a horizontal blizzard that would shred anything not protected by our heavy magnetic shields. I watch a streak of light arc across the atmosphere, a piece of debris burning up in the high-pressure thermosphere. The glass rain hits the outer shielding with a sound like sand being thrown against a metal drum, a distant, muffled static that becomes the soundtrack of our lives. We have grown used to it, this constant, abrasive whisper from the world below. It is a reminder that we are guests here, clinging to the edge of a giant that does not care for our presence. I check the integrity monitors on the side panel, seeing the blue lines that represent our structural health. The reinforced plating is holding steady despite the millions of microscopic impacts occurring every second. There is a certain peace in watching the chaos from behind the safety of the triple-paned, transparent aluminum. The glass out there is moving so fast it creates ribbons of color, shifting from deep indigo to a bright electric teal. It looks like silk rippling in a dark wind, a deceptive beauty that masks the lethality of the environment. I take a slow breath, feeling the cool air fill my lungs as I settle deeper into the chair. This is my time to reflect, to observe, and to simply exist in the quiet space between the storms. I think about the people who first arrived here 40 years ago, and the courage it took to build a home in such a hostile place. They called this station the Blue Anchor, a point of stability in a sea of sapphire fury. Many of the original modules are still in use, their walls scarred by decades of exposure to the silicate winds. We honor them by maintaining the systems they designed and by keeping the lights burning in the dark. Every weld, every bolt, every line of code is a legacy passed down through the generations of engineers and explorers. I notice a small flicker on the long-range sensor array, a signal from one of the automated weather buoys floating in the upper atmosphere. It is transmitting data on the wind speeds and the particle density of the latest surge. I pull the data onto my handheld tablet, the screen casting a soft white glow over my features. The storm is intensifying, the glass density rising as the planet rotates toward the noonside heating. It is a predictable cycle, a rhythm of the atmosphere that we have mapped with obsessive detail. Even in the intensity of the storm, there is a strange mathematical order to the way the clouds move. The vortices are massive, thousands of kilometers wide, spinning like slow, heavy gears in a cosmic machine. I track the movement of a particularly large cell, watching as it swallows a smaller pocket of turbulence. It is a dance of fluids and gases played out on a scale that defies human comprehension. And yet here we are, measuring it, cataloging it, and finding our place within the pattern. The station groans softly as the attitude thrusters fire for a microsecond, correcting our orbital decay. It is a gentle nudge, a subtle reminder of the forces at play, trying to pull us down into the blue depths. But the station resists, its engines humming with a quiet, determined power that echoes through the deck. I feel the vibration in the soles of my feet, a connection to the machine that keeps us all alive. We are a part of it, and it is a part of us, a symbiotic relationship forged in the vacuum of space. I turn my attention to the internal displays, checking the status of the hydroponic gardens on the levels below. The plants are thriving, their green leaves a sharp contrast to the blue world outside the windows. We grow kale and spinach and small sweet strawberries that taste like a memory of a home we have never seen. The gardens provide more than just food. They provide oxygen and a sense of life in a place defined by its absence. I can almost smell the damp earth and the fresh growth even from this distance. The lighting on the deck shifts slightly as the station enters the shadow of the planet. The cobalt blue fades into a deep velvet black, and the stars begin to emerge like diamonds scattered on a dark cloth. This is the true night, the time when the universe feels vast and infinite, and we feel very, very small. I watch the distant suns, their light traveling for thousands of years to reach my eyes. It is a humbling thought, a reminder of our fleeting existence in the grand timeline of the cosmos. I see the silhouette of a maintenance crane moving slowly along the exterior spine of the station. It is repositioning a sensor pod, its movements fluid and silent against the backdrop of the stars. The technicians who operate these machines are artists in their own right, working with a precision that is almost surgical. They ensure that our eyes and ears remain open to the universe, even when the storms try to blind us. I watch the crane until it finishes its task and retracts into its housing, leaving the spine, once again, a clean line against the dark. The quiet on the deck is interrupted by the soft chime of my terminal, indicating a message from the communications center. It is a routine update, a weather report from the Deep Space Array confirming that the path for the next supply ship is clear. We rely on those ships for the things we cannot make here, for the spare parts and the luxury items that remind us of our humanity. The arrival of a ship is always a celebration, a break in the routine that brings new faces and new stories to our small community. I lean back and close my eyes for a moment, letting the ambient sounds of the station wash over me. The low hum of the air recyclers, the distant thrum of the engines, the faint metallic clicks of the structure. It is a symphony of technology, a lullaby for those of us who live in the stars. I feel the weight of the day beginning to lift, replaced by a sense of calm and peace. The work is hard, the environment is harsh, but there is a profound beauty in the life we have chosen. I open my eyes and look out at the horizon, where the first hint of the planet's glow is beginning to return. The blue light is soft at first, a thin line of sapphire that slowly grows as we move out of the shadow. The glass storm is still there, waiting for us, its fury undiminished by the passage of time. But we are ready for it. Our shields are strong, our systems are functional, and our spirits are steady. We are the watchers on the edge of the blue, and we will not be moved. I stand up and stretch, my muscles protesting the long period of stillness. I need to complete one final round of the observation deck before heading back to the central hub. I walk along the perimeter, checking the emergency lockers and the manual override panels, ensuring that everything is exactly where it should be. The deck is empty. Now, the other crew members having finished their shifts and retired to their quarters. It is just me and the station and the blue world below. I stop by a small wall-mounted screen that displays the current time and the station's coordinates. We are exactly where we are supposed to be, moving with a grace that belies our massive size. I feel a sense of pride in our achievement, in the fact that we have built something so magnificent in such a lonely place. It is a testament to human ingenuity and the enduring desire to explore the unknown. We are pioneers in every sense of the word, pushing the boundaries of what is possible. I finish my round and head toward the elevator, the doors sliding open with a soft hiss. I step inside and press the button for the main concourse, feeling the gentle pull of acceleration as the lift moves. The journey is short, but it gives me a moment to transition back to the social heart of the colony. I look forward to a warm drink and perhaps a few words with the night shift cook before I finally seek my own rest. The station is quiet, the storm is raging, and all is well in our corner of the galaxy. As the elevator descends, I think about the tasks that await me in the coming hours. There are reports to file and maintenance schedules to update, but those can wait for a little while longer. For now, I will enjoy the transition, the slow movement from the heights of the deck to the warmth of the hub. The night continues, and we move with it, steady and sure, through the blue glass and the silver stars. The bridge to the next hour is open, and I walk it with a light heart and a peaceful mind. The elevator doors slide open with a soft melodic chime that echoes through the empty, dim concourse. I step out onto the textured composite flooring and feel the subtle change in the air's circulation. Here, in the lower levels of the primary habitat, the air feels thicker, laden with the faint, sweet scent of the oxygen scrubbers and the distant, earthy aroma of the garden decks. The overhead lights have transitioned to a deep midnight blue, signaling the start of the late watch cycle. It is a quiet time, a period of stillness, where the station feels less like a machine and more like a living, breathing entity. I walk slowly, my boots making a soft, rhythmic contact with the floor as I head toward the central galley. The station is mostly asleep now, the hundreds of researchers and engineers tucked away in their sleeping pods. I reach the galley and find it bathed in the soft glow of the automated vending units. There is no one else here, just the low hum of the refrigeration units and the occasional distant clatter of a maintenance droid working in the vents. I select a warm herbal infusion, watching as the machine prepares the drink with a series of precise mechanical movements. The steam rises in a thin, twisting column, catching the blue light and shimmering like a ghost. I take the cup, feeling its warmth seep into my palms, a grounding sensation after the cold, sterile environment of the observation deck. I sit at a small circular table near the viewport and look out at the swirling blue chaos of the planet below. The glass storm is particularly intense tonight, with flashes of static electricity dancing across the upper atmosphere. From this vantage point, the scale of the storm is truly humbling, a vast sapphire ocean of wind and fire. I watch the silica shards as they catch the light of the distant star, creating a shimmering crystalline veil that wraps around the planet's equator. It is hard to imagine that anything could survive in such a place. Yet here we are, perched on the edge of the abyss. Our station is a marvel of engineering, a fragile bubble of life held together by titanium and sheer will. I take a slow, deliberate sip of my tea, letting the warmth spread through my chest and out to my limbs. The flavor is mild, with notes of chamomile and something faintly metallic, a reminder of our recycled water supply. It is a familiar taste, one that I have come to associate with the end of a long, productive shift. I finish my drink and stand up, feeling a wave of pleasant fatigue wash over me. My body is ready for rest, but my mind is still lingering on the beauty of the blue world. I decide to take the long way back to my quarters, passing through the hydroponic wing. The doors to the garden hiss open, releasing a burst of humid, fragrant air that smells of wet soil and growing things. This is my favorite part of the station, a lush green sanctuary in the middle of a desolate, airless void. The plants are bathed in a soft purple light designed to maximize their growth and oxygen production. I walk along the narrow metal catwalks, listening to the gentle drip of the nutrient-rich water as it circulates through the irrigation pipes. Everything here is carefully monitored by the central computer, ensuring that each leaf and stem receives exactly what it needs. I stop to touch the broad, waxy leaf of a tropical fern, feeling its coolness against my skin. It is a strange thing to find such life so far from home, but it is necessary for our survival and our sanity. The gardens provide more than just oxygen and food. They provide a connection to the earth we left behind. I spend a few minutes simply breathing, letting the clean, oxygenated air fill my lungs and clear my head. The station's vibration is different here, dampened by the soil and the dense foliage, creating a sense of profound, absolute peace. I feel the tension in my shoulders finally begin to melt as I lose myself in the quiet, green darkness. I leave the garden and continue my journey toward the engineering sub-level, checking the status of the automated repair drones. I pass by a row of docking bays where the sleek silver machines are undergoing their nightly maintenance. They look like large metallic insects with multiple arms and glowing sensor eyes that flicker in the dim light. These drones are the unsung heroes of our station, venturing out into the glass storm to repair the damage caused by the silica. They work tirelessly in conditions that would be fatal to a human. Their movements precise and efficient. I check the primary monitor and see that all units are currently within their operational parameters. The hull integrity is holding steady at 99.8%, a testament to the effectiveness of our shields. I feel a sense of quiet satisfaction, knowing that our home is secure and that the storm is being kept at bay. I move on, passing through a series of heavy pressurized doors that lead toward the crew's living quarters. The corridors here are narrower and the ceilings are lower, creating a sense of intimacy and warmth. The walls are lined with personal lockers and small digital frames displaying photos of families and landscapes from old Earth. It is a reminder that despite our isolation, we are still connected to the world we came from. I reach my own door and place my palm against the scanner, feeling the cool glass surface recognize my print. The door slides open with a hushed, welcoming sound, and I step into my private sanctuary. My cabin is small, but it is mine, a place where I can truly be alone with my thoughts. The lighting is low, a soft amber glow that is easy on the eyes after the blue of the concourse. I sit on the edge of my bunk and take off my boots, feeling the soft carpeted floor beneath my feet. It is a simple luxury, but one that I appreciate more than I can say. I look at the small personal terminal on my desk, which shows a single unread message from my sister back on Earth. I decide to save it for the morning, wanting to end my day in this state of quiet, meditative calm. I lie back on the bed and stare up at the ceiling, where a faint holographic projection of the night sky is slowly rotating. It is not the sky of HD 189, 733b, but the sky of my childhood filled with familiar constellations. I find the Big Dipper and Orion's Belt, their steady white light, a comfort in the face of the blue chaos outside. The sound of the station is a constant low-frequency hum that acts as a perfect white noise for sleep. I can hear the faint rhythmic pulse of the air recycler and the distant muffled thud of a heavy bulkhead door closing. These are the sounds of my life, the soundtrack to my existence on the edge of the universe. I feel my eyelids growing heavy as the weight of the day's work finally catches up with me. I think about the glass storm and the sapphire planet and the incredible fragile beauty of our orbital home. We are so small in the vastness of space, but we have built something enduring and strong. I take one last deep breath, feeling the cool, recycled air fill my chest before I slowly exhale. The darkness of the room is warm and inviting, a cocoon of safety in the heart of the station. I am tired, but it is a good, honest tiredness, the kind that comes from a day well spent. I close my eyes and let the sounds of the station wash over me like a gentle, rhythmic tide. The bridge to the next quiet hour is narrow and soft, and I cross it with the grace of a dreamer. The internal chronometer clicks over to the start of the third watch. I wake not from a nightmare, but from the subtle shift in the station's harmonic resonance. The glass storm outside has reached a new intensity, a crescendo of silicate and wind. I rise from my bunk, the cool air of the cabin, greeting my skin like a familiar ghost. I dress in the dim amber light, my movements slow and deliberate. Each layer of my uniform is a ritual, a preparation for the quiet work ahead. I leave my quarters and step into the hallway where the overhead lights are dimmed to a soft charcoal blue. The station is sleeping, yet it is more alive than ever. I can feel the vibrations of the massive atmospheric processors working to keep the pressure stable. I head toward the engineering subdeck where the primary hull sensors are located. The floor beneath my feet is cold, transmitting the distant thrum of the engines into my bones. I pass the hydroponics bay where the plants are bathed in a deep violet glow, their leaves glistening with artificial dew. The smell of damp earth and oxygen is a brief, sweet relief from the recycled metallic air of the corridors. I reach the heavy blast doors of the engineering section, and they open with a slow, grinding protest. Inside, the machines are singing, a complex mechanical symphony that only those of us who live here can truly understand. I walk along the catwalk, looking down into the heart of the station's life support systems. The pipes are frosted with condensation, and the air is thick with the scent of ozone and grease. I check the first of the pressure gauges, its needle steady against the glass, reflecting the blue light of the storm. Everything is as it should be, yet the storm outside feels different tonight, more insistent. I move to the secondary monitoring station, where the hull integrity data is displayed in long columns of glowing white text. The sensors are picking up the impact of billions of tiny glass shards hitting the outer shell at speeds that would shred any lesser vessel. It is a constant rhythmic drumming, a sound that becomes a part of your very soul after a while. I adjust the frequency of the shields, feeling the subtle change in the floor's vibration as the energy field compensates. It is a delicate balance, a dance between the forces of nature and the ingenuity of man. I spend a few minutes fine-tuning the parameters, ensuring that the station remains a safe haven in the midst of the chaos. The data flows across the screen, a river of information that tells the story of our survival. I leave the monitoring station and head toward the maintenance drone bay, where the automated repair units are housed. These small crab-like machines are the unsung heroes of the station, constantly patrolling the exterior to patch any damage. I watch as one of them is prepped for deployment, its mechanical limbs moving with a precision that is almost hypnotic. It disappears into the airlock, and I imagine it out there in the dark, fighting the glass storm. I continue my rounds, walking through the quiet industrial heart of our orbital home. Every corner of this station has a story, a memory of a repair made or a crisis averted. I see the marks on the walls where heavy equipment was moved, and the worn patches on the floor where thousands of steps have been taken. It is a lived-in space, a place that has been shaped by the people who call it home. I reach the observation bubble at the very bottom of the engineering deck, a place where few people ever go. Here the glass is thick and reinforced, providing a panoramic view of the planet below. HD 189 733b is a swirling cauldron of blue and white, a world that is both beautiful and deadly. I stand in the darkness, watching the lightning dance in the upper atmosphere miles below my feet. It is a humbling sight, a reminder of our place in the universe and the fragility of our existence. We are travelers on a journey through the stars, and this station is our vessel, our sanctuary. I feel a sense of pride in the work we do, in the way we have mastered this harsh environment. The storm may rage outside, but inside there is peace and order and the quiet routine of life. I take a seat on a small metal bench and let the silence of the observation bubble wrap around me. The only sound is the faint hiss of the air, vents, and the distant muffled roar of the storm. I think about the people sleeping in the decks above and the trust they place in those of us who keep the station running. It is a heavy responsibility, but one that I accept with a calm and steady heart. I look at my watch and see that it is almost time for the next check of the reactor levels. I rise from the bench, my joints feeling a little stiff from the cold, but my mind is clear and focused. I walk back through the engineering deck, the machines still singing their mechanical song, a comfort in the night. I check the reactor, shielding, feeling the warmth emanating from the core, a steady, pulsing heat. Everything is within normal limits, the power output stable, and the cooling systems functioning perfectly. I make a few notes on my digital clipboard, recording the data for the morning shift. It is a routine task, but one that is essential for the continued safety of the station. I feel a sense of satisfaction in a job well done in the quiet efficiency of our operations. I head toward the central hub, where the main elevators are located, wanting to check on the status of the cargo bay. The hub is empty, the large open space echoing with the sound of my footsteps on the polished floor. I look up at the high ceiling where the station's structural ribs are visible, like the skeleton of a giant beast. It is a magnificent piece of engineering, a testament to the dreams and ambitions of those who built it. I reach the cargo bay and find it bathed in a dim red light, the massive crates casting long, distorted shadows. I walk between the rows of supplies, checking the tethers and ensuring that everything is secure. The cargo bay is a quiet, cavernous space filled with the smell of cardboard and plastic and the faint scent of space. I find a small leak in one of the coolant lines and quickly patch it with a piece of emergency tape. It is a minor repair, but one that could have become a problem if left unchecked. I continue my inspection, feeling the weight of the station all around me, a solid, reassuring presence. I finish my rounds in the cargo bay and head back toward the elevator, feeling a sense of completion. My shift is almost over, and I am looking forward to returning to the warmth of my cabin. I take the elevator back up to the living quarters, the smooth motion a contrast to the vibrations of the engineering deck. The hallways are still quiet, the soft blue light creating a peaceful and serene atmosphere. I pass a few other crew members who are just starting their shifts, our eyes meeting in a silent acknowledgement of our shared purpose. We are a community, a family, bound together by our life in the stars. I reach my door and place my palm against the scanner, the familiar click of the lock, a welcome sound. I step into my cabin, and the door slides shut behind me, sealing out the sounds of the station. I take off my uniform and climb back into my bunk, the sheets still warm from my earlier sleep. I close my eyes and let the rhythmic pulse of the station lull me back into a deep and restful slumber. The glass storm continues to rage outside, but here in my sanctuary I am safe and secure. I dream of distant worlds and the endless possibilities of the universe, my mind at peace. The journey continues, one quiet moment at a time, as we sail through the sapphire clouds of our home. As the cycle turns, the station breathes with me, a silent partner, in the deep velvet dark. While the crew rests, the station remains ever vigilant. In the deep hollows of the forward sensor array, the machines hum with a low, steady vibration. Outside the blue atmosphere of HD 189, 733b is a churning sea of molten glass and wind. The shards strike the outer hull with the sound of 1,000 tiny bells ringing all at once. It is a music that only the station truly hears, recorded by sensitive microphones and translated into data for the morning shift. In the drone hangar, the automated repair units sit in their charging cradles. Their optical sensors are dimmed to a soft amber glow as they process the damage reports from the last hour. One by one, they awaken, their joints clicking with a metallic precision as they prepare to venture out into the storm. They are the silent guardians of our sanctuary, moving with a grace that belies their heavy industrial frames. I watch through a small reinforced portal as the first drone enters the airlock. The lights shift from green to a warning yellow as the pressure equalizes. Beyond the door is a world of sapphire chaos, where the winds reach 7,000 kilometers per hour. The drone steps out, its magnetic feet clamping firmly to the hull as it begins its slow, precarious journey toward the damaged plating. The station groans slightly as the wind shears against its broad flanks. It is a structural sigh, a testament to the incredible forces at play in this alien sky. We are suspended in a delicate balance between the vacuum of space and the crushing pressure of the gas giant below. Every weld, every bolt, and every seal is a promise made by the engineers who designed this orbital home. In the thermal regulation hub, the pipes are frosted with a thin layer of condensation. The coolant flows with a gentle, gurgling sound, carrying away the heat generated by the station's fusion core. It is the lifeblood of our colony, keeping us warm against the freezing dark of the upper atmosphere. I place my hand against a cool pipe, feeling the steady pulse of the pumps deep within the floor. The hydroponics bay is a different world, entirely filled with the scent of damp earth and growing things. Here the silicate, resistant ferns stretch their fronds toward the artificial suns, their leaves a deep, vibrant green. They are an experiment in survival adapted to thrive in the high gravity and mineral-rich environment of this system. The air here is thick and humid, a welcome contrast to the dry, recycled air of the corridors. I walk past the rows of glass tanks where bioluminescent algae swirl in a slow, rhythmic dance. They provide much of our oxygen, and their soft blue light is a soothing presence in the dark. I check the nutrient levels on a small handheld screen, the numbers scrolling by in a silent stream. Everything is within parameters, the plants growing strong in their sheltered cradle. The long walk corridor stretches out before me, a tunnel of steel and light that runs the length of the station. It is a quiet space, used mostly for maintenance and emergency access. The walls are lined with emergency supplies and breathing apparatus, a reminder of the dangers that lie just beyond the hull. I enjoy the solitude of this place, the way the sound of my breathing seems to fill the entire hallway. I stop at a small observation window and look down at the planet below. It is a terrifying and beautiful sight, a vast swirling marble of deep cobalt and electric blue. The storms are visible as darker streaks moving across the face of the world, carrying their cargo of liquid glass. It is a reminder of how small we are and how vast the universe truly is. In the communications array, the servers hum with the weight of 1 billion bits of data. We are constantly sending and receiving signals from the other stations in the belt and from the distant relay stations near the sun. The lights on the server racks flicker in a chaotic yet purposeful pattern, a digital heartbeat that never stops. I check the signal strength and find it to be steady despite the interference from the storm. The gravity centrifuge rotates with a low rhythmic thrum, creating a sense of weight for those who need it. It is a massive ring of metal and glass spinning slowly in the dark, a piece of home in the void. I watch as the lights of the centrifuge pass by, a steady carousel of human ingenuity. It is a place of exercise and rehabilitation, where the crew can feel the pull of gravity once more. I find myself in the station's library, a small, quiet room filled with digital archives and a few precious physical books. The air here is still and smells of old paper and ozone. It is a sanctuary, for the mind a place to escape the pressures of life on the frontier. I run my fingers along the spines of the books, feeling the texture of the covers, a tangible link to our past. The water reclamation facility is a labyrinth of tanks and filters where every drop of moisture is precious. The sound of running water is a constant background noise, a soothing reminder of the cycles of life. We are masters of recycling, turning waste into sustenance in a never-ending loop. I check the purity sensors and find that the water is as clean as a mountain stream. I pass through an airlock, the heavy doors hissing as they seal behind me. The transition area is a stark, functional space designed for utility rather than comfort. It is a threshold between the known and the unknown, a place where we prepare to face the elements. I feel a sense of reverence in this space, a respect for the thin line that keeps us alive. The external hull camera feed shows the station's exterior illuminated by the blue light of the gas giant. The metal is scarred and pitted from years of exposure to the silicate rain. It is a rugged, weathered look, a badge of honor for a station that has endured so much. I watch as a small spark of light moves across the screen, a drone, finishing its repair and returning to the hangar. In the core processing unit, the station's artificial intelligence resides. It is a quiet, temperature-controlled room where the only sound is the whisper of the cooling fans. This is the brain of our home, managing everything from the oxygen levels to the station's orbit. I feel a sense of comfort, knowing that this silent intelligence is always watching, always caring for us. I visit the small meditation room, a space of soft light and silence. There are no windows here, only the gentle glow of a few candles and the scent of incense. It is a place to find one's center, to connect with something larger than oneself. I sit for a moment in the stillness, letting the peace of the room wash over me. The laundry and sanitation deck is a hive of activity, even in the middle of the night. The machines whir and click as they clean our clothes and linens, ensuring that we have the comforts of home. It is a mundane but essential part of life. On the station, a reminder of the routines that keep us grounded. I smell the scent of clean laundry, a fresh, crisp aroma that reminds me of Earth. I crawl into a small technical space to check on a faulty sensor cable. The space is cramped and smells of warm electronics and grease. It is a hidden world behind the walls of the station, where the real work of maintenance happens. I find the loose connection and tighten it with a small wrench, feeling a sense of satisfaction in the simple act. I reach the bridge, which is bathed in a dim red night light. The duty officers move quietly, their voices low and hushed as they monitor the station's systems. The main view screen shows the edge of the storm, where the blue clouds meet the black of space. It is a breathtaking sight, a reminder of the beauty and the danger of our home. As the night cycle continues, I feel a sense of deep peace and contentment. We are a small island of life in a vast and indifferent universe, but we are together. The station is our shell, our protector, and our home, and we are its caretakers. I look out at the stars and feel a sense of wonder at the journey that lies ahead for all of us in the deep blue dark. The station turns slowly in its orbit, moving toward the dawn that will soon break over the horizon. I descend from the bridge, moving toward the lower engineering decks, where the heavy heart of the station beats in the dark. The elevator is a slow, rhythmic companion, its hum a low vibration in the soles of my boots as we sink deeper into the hull. Here the air is cooler, carrying the faint metallic scent of the station's heavy machinery and the distant ozone of the magnetic shields. The glass shielding workshop is my first stop, a place where the station's skin is reinforced against the storm. Large hexagonal panels of silicate glass rest on padded cradles, waiting for their protective coatings to be applied. The robotic arms move with a grace that is almost hypnotic, applying a thin layer of carbon lattice to the surface. It is a delicate dance of precision and technology, ensuring that each panel can withstand the fury of the glass rain. I watch as a laser scans the surface of a newly treated panel, looking for the slightest imperfection or flaw. The blue light of the scanner reflects in the glass, creating a shimmering aurora that dances across the walls of the workshop. Everything here is done with a quiet focus, a respect for the materials that keep the storm at bay. I run my hand over the edge of a finished panel, feeling the smooth, cool surface and the strength beneath. Moving deeper into the engineering section, I enter the magnetic stabilizer room, which is bathed in a soft pulse of blue light. This is where the station's position is maintained against the buffeting winds of the gas giant far below. The massive coils hum with a low frequency that I can feel in my chest, a constant reassuring reminder of the power at work. It is a space of immense energy, yet it feels strangely peaceful, like the center of a great machine. I find a maintenance technician's workbench tucked into a corner, surrounded by tools and spare parts. A small holographic plant sits on the desk, its leaves glowing with a soft green light, a tiny piece of life in this industrial world. There is a sense of history here, in the worn handles of the wrenches and the notes scribbled on the digital pads. It is a place where problems are solved and the station is kept running. One small repair at a time. I walk through the silence corridor, a narrow walkway lined with sound-dampening foam that absorbs every noise. It is a place for the crew to find a moment of absolute quiet away from the constant hum of the station's systems. My footsteps are muffled, and the only sound is the soft rhythm of my own breathing as I move through the darkness. It is a sensory reset, a chance to clear the mind and find a sense of balance in the deep space. At the end of the corridor, I find the station's small library, a room filled with the scent of old paper and digital archives. Physical books are rare and precious, here kept in glass cases to protect them from the station's recycled air. I see titles from Earth, stories of mountains and oceans and forests, reminders of the world we left behind. It is a place of quiet reflection where the history of humanity is preserved in the heart of the storm. I stop at a large observation window on the leeward side of the station where the storm's impact is less severe. The blue clouds of the gas giant stretch out below me, a vast swirling ocean of gas and silicate rain. From here the storm looks beautiful, a masterpiece of nature's power and scale that defies description. I watch as a bolt of lightning flashes deep within the clouds, a brief spark of light in the eternal blue dark. The coolant distribution hub is a network of pipes and valves that carry the station's heat away into the cold of space. The pipes are frosted over, with a thin layer of ice glowing with a soft white light in the darkness. I can hear the liquid nitrogen flowing through the system, a gentle rushing sound like a distant river. It is the station's circulatory system keeping the delicate electronics cool and the crew comfortable. I look out at the station's exterior, where the metal is smoother and less scarred on this protected side. The docking rings stand ready, their lights blinking in a slow, steady rhythm, waiting for the next supply ship to arrive. It is a quiet scene, a moment of preparation before the next cycle of activity begins. I feel a sense of pride in the station's resilience and the work that goes into keeping it safe. The cafeteria is empty now, the long tables clean and polished under the dim night lights. Automated cleaning drones move silently between the chairs, their small sensors glowing as they work. It is a place that is usually filled with the sounds of laughter and conversation, but now it is a space of quiet repose. I can almost hear the echoes of the day's meals and the shared stories of the crew. A sensor display on the wall shows the current density of the silicate rain outside the station's hull. The data flows in a steady stream, a digital representation of the storm's changing moods and patterns. It is a reminder of the constant vigilance required to live in this environment, and the technology that makes it possible. I watch as the numbers shift and change, a quiet dance of information in the dark. I enter A large storage hangar filled with crates of spare parts and maintenance equipment. The space is vast and echoing, with the distant sounds of the station's life support systems working in the background. Each crate is labeled and organized, a testament to the efficiency and order required for life on the frontier. I walk between the rows of supplies, feeling the weight of the responsibility we all share for our home. In a small, quiet lounge, I find a row of low-gravity chairs facing a wall of soft amber light. It is a space designed for relaxation, where the crew can drift in a state of near weightlessness and let their worries fade. The air here is scented with lavender and chamomile, a soothing aroma that invites sleep and rest. I sit for a moment, letting the calm of the room wash over me, and the tension leave my muscles. The airlock leading to the external maintenance gantry is sealed tight, its heavy doors a barrier between us and the void. I check the pressure gauges, seeing that they are all in the green, a sign of a healthy and secure seal. It is a portal to the outside world, a place of danger and wonder that we only visit when necessary. I feel a sense of gratitude for the safety of the station and the strength of its walls. A secondary docking ring is visible through a small porthole, its lights casting long shadows across the station's exterior. It is a lonely sight, a piece of human engineering floating in the vast emptiness of space around the gas giant. But it is also a sign of our presence here, a bridge between our small colony and the rest of the galaxy. I watch as the station rotates, slowly bringing new stars into view through the glass. The water reclamation unit is a complex system of tubes and filters that ensures every drop of moisture is recycled. I can see the water pulsing through the clear pipes, a life-giving fluid that is more precious than gold out here. The sound of the pumps is a steady, reassuring heartbeat, a reminder of the cycles that sustain us in the dark. It is a miracle of engineering, a closed loop of life in an indifferent universe. I crawl into a narrow space filled with bundles of fiber optic cables that glow with a faint internal light. These are the nerves of the station, carrying data and commands to every corner of our home at the speed of light. I check the connections, making sure that everything is secure and functioning as it should. It is a hidden world, a labyrinth of information that keeps us connected and informed. The emergency medical bay is quiet and still, bathed in a soft green light that is easy on the eyes. The beds are empty, a sign of a safe and healthy shift for the crew working in the storms. It is a place of healing and care, where the latest medical technology is always ready to protect our well-being. I feel a sense of comfort knowing that this sanctuary exists, even if we hope to never need it. I return to the main observation deck as the station completes another slow rotation in its orbit. The horizon of the gas giant is beginning to glow with the first light of the coming dawn, a thin line of gold against the blue. It is a moment of transition, a bridge between the long night and the start of a new day of work and discovery. I stand in the silence, watching the light grow, and feeling the peace of the station settle into my bones as the first rays of the distant sun touch the outer hull. The light of the star catches the edge of the station, a brilliant silver line that marks the boundary between the shadow and the day. I turn away from the window, my footsteps echoing softly on the padded floor of the corridor. The air here is cool and carries the faint scent of ozone and clean metal, a smell that has become the scent of home. I pass by the common room where the chairs are empty and the screens are dimmed to a low standby glow. It is a time of rest for the station, a moment of stillness before the next cycle of maintenance begins. I reach the entrance to the habitation ring, where the artificial gravity feels a little heavier, a little more grounded. The walls are lined with soft fabric panels designed to dampen the sound of the machinery that never truly stops. I can hear the distant thrum of the life support systems, a steady low frequency that vibrates in the soles of my feet. It is a comforting sound, a reminder that we are safe and cared for in this fragile bubble of air. Every breath I take is a gift from the machines, a testament to the ingenuity of those who built this place. I stop for a moment at the entrance to the hydroponics bay, where the smell of damp earth and growing things fills the air. The plants are bathed in a soft violet light, their leaves reaching up towards the artificial suns that provide them with life. It is a small piece of the world we left behind, a green sanctuary in the middle of the cold, dark void. I watch as the water misters activate, a fine spray of moisture settling on the leaves like morning dew. It is a peaceful sight, a reminder of the cycles of growth and renewal that continue even here. Moving further down the corridor, I pass the heavy blast doors that lead to the engineering core, where the heart of the station beats. The sound of the turbines is louder. Here, a powerful rhythmic pulse that speaks of the energy required to keep us afloat. I check the status panel on the wall, seeing that the power output is steady and the shields are holding firm. The glass storms outside may be fierce, but they are no match for the engineering of our home. I feel a sense of pride in the work we do and the resilience of the structures we maintain. I find myself at the door to my personal quarters, a small private space that is all mine in this vast station. The door slides open with a soft hiss, revealing a room that is dimly lit and filled with the familiar objects of my life. There is a small desk, a comfortable chair and a bunk that looks incredibly inviting after the long hours of the shift. I step inside and the door closes behind me, sealing out the rest of the station and leaving me in the quiet. It is a sanctuary, a place where I can finally let go of the responsibilities of the day. I sit on the edge of the bunk and begin the slow process of removing my heavy maintenance boots, feeling the relief as the weight is lifted. My feet feel light, and the tension in my legs begins to melt away as I lean back against the wall. The cabin is small, but it is enough, a cozy cocoon that protects me from the infinite emptiness outside. I look at the small porthole in the corner, seeing the blue clouds of the gas, giant, swirling in the distance. They look so peaceful from here, a beautiful and deadly masterpiece of nature. I reach over and dim the lights even further until the room is bathed in a soft amber glow that is easy on the eyes. The shadows stretch across the floor, dancing in the light of the instrument panels that flicker with a gentle rhythm. I can hear the soft clicking of the air, recycler as it filters the air, a sound that is as familiar to me as my own heartbeat. It is a quiet symphony of technology, a lullaby for the weary souls who call this station home. I feel my eyelids growing heavy as the peace of the room settles over me. I lie back on the bunk, pulling the thermal blanket up to my chin and feeling its warmth seep into my tired muscles. The mattress is firm, but supportive, conforming to the shape of my body and providing the comfort I need. I close my eyes and listen to the sounds of the station, the faint hums and clicks that tell me everything is as it should be. It is a sense of security that is hard to describe, a feeling of being exactly where I am supposed to be. In the darkness, I can almost feel the station, breathing a living entity that protects us all. I think about the glass, storms outside, and the millions of tiny shards that are raining down on the atmosphere of the planet. It is a beautiful and terrifying thought, a reminder of the power and the mystery of the universe we inhabit. But here, inside the station, we are safe, and the storms are just a distant memory, a backdrop to our quiet lives. I feel a sense of gratitude for the technology that allows us to witness such wonders, and for the people who work alongside me. We are a community, a small family of explorers and maintainers bound together by our shared mission. As I drift closer to sleep, my thoughts become fragmented and dreamlike, like the swirling clouds of the gas giant below. I see the flashes of lightning in the distance and the glint of the glass, shards as they catch the light of the star. I feel the gentle vibration of the station in my bones, a steady, reassuring pulse that guides me into the darkness. It is a journey that we take every night, a transition from the world of work to the world of dreams. I embrace the silence and the stillness, letting them wash over me like a gentle tide. I remember the first time I saw the blue planet, and the awe I felt at its scale and its beauty. It is a feeling that has never truly left me, even after all the months and years I have spent here. Every time I look out the window, I am reminded of how small we are and how vast the universe is. But I also feel a sense of purpose and knowledge that we are doing something important, something that matters. We are the eyes and ears of humanity, out here on the edge of the unknown. The air in the cabin is perfectly still, and the only sound is the soft, rhythmic breathing of the station's systems. I feel a deep sense of contentment, a peace that comes from knowing that the day's work is done and the station is secure. The repairs we made are holding, and the glass storms are being monitored by those who are still awake. It is a cycle of care and vigilance that never ends, a relay race, where the torch is passed from one shift to the next. I am glad to play my part, and I am glad to rest. I imagine the other crew members in their own cabins, settling down for the night and finding their own moments of peace. We are all connected by the same walls, the same air, and the same shared experience of living in space. It is a bond that is forged in the challenges we face and the quiet moments we share in the middle of the night. I feel a sense of warmth towards them, a silent acknowledgement of our shared journey among the stars. We are never truly alone, as long as we have each other. My breathing slows and becomes deep and regular, matching the rhythm of the station's heartbeat in the dark. The amber light of the room is a soft glow that feels like a warm embrace, a comfort in the middle of the cold void. I am drifting now on the edge of consciousness, where the boundaries between reality and dreams begin to blur. The sounds of the station are a distant hum, a soothing melody that carries me further and further away. I am safe, I am warm, and I am ready to sleep. In the morning, the light of the star will return, and the next cycle will begin with its own set of tasks and discoveries. But for now, there is only the quiet and the stillness and the peace of the station in the middle of the storm. I let the last of my thoughts fade away, replaced by the soft, dark velvet of a deep and dreamless sleep. The station continues its slow rotation, a silent sentinel in the dark, watching over us as we rest and prepare for the day to come. I can feel the weight of my body pressing into the mattress, a solid and reassuring sensation that grounds me in the moment. The blankets are soft against my skin, a gentle texture that adds to the sense of comfort and security. I am completely relaxed, my muscles loose and my mind at ease as the last traces of the day's fatigue disappear. It is a perfect moment of rest, a sanctuary of peace in a world that is always in motion. I surrender to the darkness and the silence, letting them take me where they will. As the station orbits the blue giant, the shadows shift and change, casting new patterns on the walls of my cabin. I am unaware of them now, lost in the deep embrace of sleep, where the only thing that matters is the quiet. The glass storms continue to rage outside, but here in the heart of the station there is only the steady pulse of life. We are the dreamers in the dark, the explorers of the unknown, and the keepers of the light. And as the station moves through the void, we rest secure in the knowledge that we are home. I feel a final wave of sleepiness wash over me, a gentle tide that carries me away from the world of the living. The sounds of the station fade into a distant whisper, a soft lullaby that marks the end of the day. I am at peace with the universe and with myself as I sink into the deep, dark waters of a restful night. The cycle is complete. The shift is over and the station is quiet as we wait for the first light of the new dawn to touch the outer hull and begin the dance once more. Thank you for spending this quiet shift with me. Until next time, on Orbital Nights, sleep well.